That'll do, Tom.
Tom was 25 years of age. He was married with 3 children, and he had been in trouble with the law before.
It must have been disorderly. What did it consist of?
Got in a fight with another man. He tried to cut me.
Did he succeed?
Yes, sir. A little. Not enough to hurt. You see,
Yes. You were both convicted.
Yes, sir. I had to serve because I couldn't pay the fine. Other fellow paid his.
Dale leaned across me and asked Jem what Atticus was doing. Jem said Atticus was showing the jury that Tom had nothing to hide. Were you ever acquainted with Maya Violet Ewell?
Yes, sir. I had to pass a place going to and from the field every day.
Whose field?
I picked for Mr. Link D's.
Were you picking cotton in November?
No, sir. I works in his yard fall and winter time. I works pretty steady for him all year round. He's got a lot of pecan trees and things.
You say you had to pass the Ewell place to get to and from work. Is there any other way to go?
No, sir. None that I know of.
Tom, did she ever speak to you?
Why, yes, sir. I tip my hat when I go by, and one day she asked me to come inside the fence and bust up a chip rope for her.
When did she ask you to chop up the chip rope for her?
Mr. Finch, it was way last spring. I remember because it was chopping time, and I had my hoe with me. I said I had nothing but this hoe, but she said she had a hatchet. She gave me the hatchet, and I broke up the chip rope. She said, I reckon I have to give you a nickel one eye. I said, no, ma'am, there ain't no charge. Then I went home. Mr. Finch, that was way last spring, way over a year ago.
Did you ever go on the place again?
What? Yes, sir.
When?
Well, I went lots of times.
Under what circumstances?
Please, sir?
Why did you go inside the fence lots of times?
She called me in, sir. Seemed like every time I passed by yonder, she had something little for me to do. Chopping, killing, turning for water. She watered the red flowers every day.
Were you paid for your services?
No, sir. Not after until she gave me a nickel for her first time. I was glad to do it. Mr. Yule didn't seem to help her none, and neither did the children. I know she didn't have no nickels to spare.
Where were the other children?
Well, they were all over the place. They watched me work, some of them, and sat in the window.
Would Miss Myla talk to you?
Yes, sir. She talked to me.
As Tom gave his testimony, it came to me that Myla must have been the loneliest person in the world. Maycomb gave the Yule family Christmas baskets in the back of his hand. Tom Robinson was probably the only person who was decent to her. But she said Tom was disrespectful and took advantage of her. Did you ever, at any time, go on the Yule place property, Tom?
No, sir. Miss Finch, I never did. I wouldn't do that, sir.
Okay, well, let me ask you. Tom, what happened to you on the evening of November 21st of last year?
Mr. Finch, I was going home as usual that evening. When I passed the old place, Mr. Mayella was on the porch, like she said she would. He seemed real quiet-like, and I didn't quite know why. I studied why, just passing by. But she said for me to come there and help her a minute. Well, I went inside the fence and looked around for something killing to work on, but I didn't see none. She says, now I got something for you to do in the house. The old doors off its hinges are coming off pretty fast. I said, you got a screwdriver, Miss Mariella? She said she sure had. Well, I went up the steps and she motioned me to come inside. I went in the front room and I looked at the door. I said, Miss Mariella, this door looked all right. I put it back and forth, those hinges was all right. Then she shut the door in my face. Mr. Finch, I was wondering why it was so quiet like. And they came to me, and they were on a child under this. None of them. And I said, Miss Mara, where are the children? So I said, where are the children? And she said she was laughing, sort of like she was going to town to get ice creams. It took us like a year to save some nickels, but I've done it. They're all gone to town.
What did you say then, Tom?
I said something like, why, Miss Mara, that's right smart of you to treat them. And she said, you think so? I don't think she understood what I was thinking. I meant it was smart to save like that, and nice of her to treat them.
I understand you, Tom. Go on.
Well, I said I'd best be going. I couldn't do nothing for her. And she said, oh yes, I could be asking her what. and she said she stepped on the chair and got that box down from the top of the shift rope.
Not the same chipper robe you busted up?
No, sir. Another one. Most as tall as the room. So I done what she told me. I was just reaching when the next thing she knows, she grabbed me around the legs, grabbed me, and turned the chair over. That was the only furniture disturbed in that room. Mr. Finch, when I left, I swear I forgot.
What happened after you turned the chair over? Tom, you swore you'd tell the whole truth. Will you tell it? What happened after that? Answer the question.
Mr. Finch, I got down after that chair and turned around, and she sort of jumped on me.
Jumped on you? Violently?
Nah, sir. She hugged me. She hugged me around the waist.
Then what did she do?
She reached up and kissed me, side of the face. She said she never kissed a grown man before, and she might as well kiss a nigger. She said she would probably to do her don't count. She says, kiss me back, nigger. I said, Miss Miller, let me out of here. And tried to run, but she got back to the door, and I had to push her. I didn't want to harm her, Miss French. And I said, let me pass. But just when I said it, you're yonder hauled through in the window.
What did he say? What did he say, Tom? You must tell the jury what he said.
He says, you goddamn whore, I'll kill you.
Then what happened?
Mr. Finch, I was running so fast I didn't know what happened.
Tom, did you rape Maya Yule?
I did not, sir.
Did you harm her in any way?
I did not, sir.
Did you resist her advances?
Mr. Finch, I tried. I tried to not being ugly to her. I didn't want to be ugly. I didn't want to push her or nothing.
Tom, go back once more to Mr. Yule. Did he say anything to you?
Not anything, sir. He might have said something, but I weren't there.
That'll do. What you did here, who was he talking to?
Mr. Finch, you were talking and looking at Mrs. Mayella.
Then you ran?
I sure did, sir.
Why did you run?
I was scared, sir.
Why were you scared?
Mr. Finch, if you're a nigga like me, you'll be scared too.
I just want you to know that this boy's worked for me for 8 years, and I've never had a speck of trouble out of him. Not a
Shut your mouth, sir!
Oh,
Link D's. If you have anything you want to say, you can say it under the oath at the proper time. But until then, you get out of this room. You hear me? Get out of this room, sir. You hear me? I'll be damned if I'll listen to this case again.
yes, sir.
You were given 30 days once for disorderly conduct, Robinson?
Yes, sir.
What did the nigger look like when you got through with him?
He beat me, Mr. Gilmer.
Yes, but you were convicted, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I got 30 days.
Robinson, you're pretty good at busting up chip robes and kindling with one hand, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I reckon so.
Strong enough to choke the breath out of a woman and sling her to the floor?
I never done that, sir.
But you are strong enough to?
I reckon so, sir.
Had your eye on her a long time, hadn't you, boy?
No, sir. I never looked at her.
Then you were mighty polite to do all that chopping and hauling for her, weren't you, boy?
I was just trying to help her out, sir.
That was mighty generous of you. You had chores at home after your regular work, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you do them instead of Miss Ewell's?
I did them both, sir.
You must have been pretty busy. Why?
Why, what, sir?
Why were you so anxious to do that woman's chores?
Looked like she didn't have anywhere to help her. Like I says.
With Mr. Ewan 7 children on the place, boy?
Well, I says it looks like I never helped her none.
You did all this chopping and work from sheer goodness, boy?
Tried to help her, I says.
You're a mighty good fellow, it seems. Did all this for not one penny?
Yes, sir. Felt right sorry for her. She seemed to try more than the rest of them.
You felt sorry for her? You felt sorry for her? Now, you went by the house as usual last November 21st, and she asked you to come in and bust up a chip robe?
No, sir.
Do you deny that you went by the house?
No, sir. She says she has something for me to do inside the house.
She said she asked you to bust up a chip robe, is that right?
No, sir. It ain't.
Then you say she's lying, boy?
I don't say she's lying, Mr. Gilmer. I say she's mistaken her mind.
Didn't Mr. Ewell run you off the place, boy?
No, sir. I don't think he did.
Don't think? What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't stay for long enough to run me off.
You're very candid about this. Why did you run so fast?
I says I was scared, sir.
If you had a clear conscience, why were you scared?
Like I says before, I weren't safe for any nigger to be in a fix like that.
But you weren't in a fix. You testified that you were resisting Miss Ewell. Why were you so scared she'd hurt you? You ran, a big buck like you?
No, sir, I was scared of being in court, just like I am right now.
Scared of arrest? Scared you have to face up to what you did?
No, sir, I was scared I had to face up what I didn't do.
Are you being impudent to me, boy?
No, sir, I didn't go to be.
Tom Robinson tried running away.